Okay, I've been working on, well, watching videos of this epoxy project I've been wanting to do. So I think I've seen enough videos, and today is the day. So first I'm gonna start off. I got my 2 cups because I'm gonna mix them separately and then combine them. Start off with the resin A, which is one part of it, and then I go to the part B, which is the hardener, and it's gonna finish out clear, completely clear. So take a look at my project board, which is wood that I burned. I burned it, and now I'm gonna put an epoxy clear coat on it. So let's see how it goes. I'll pause and I'll come back when I'm ready. Basically, the epoxy mixes uh, one part to one part. So whatever I put in A, I also have to put in B. So I'll be back. Okay, I got both of the resins mixed together, and I'm just currently stirring. So what you have to understand about this is when you first start stirring, it's gonna have a lot of bubbles. I don't know if you can see that. It looks a little cloudy because it's full of bubbles, but you have to stir it for a good 3 to 5 minutes to make sure it's completely stirred. So when you're stirring, you have to go in there and scrape the sides and stir. Scrape the sides and stir. And the reason for that is because some of the resin or the hardener will get stuck on the sides of your mixing cup. And the only way to fix that is to make sure you get all of the epoxy resin and hardener mixed together. So I'm still stirring. Uh, I'll show you how the bubbles are going to show up on my pour, but I'm going to show you a little bit later how to fix that. So I'll be back when I'm finished mixing and I'm ready to pour. Okay, y'all, I'm about to pour, and the thing about pouring is, I hope this is enough, but this stuff is self-leveling. It will fit into any voids that you have, and it'll just do everything for you. So what I'm gonna do is, I hope you can see this. I'm gonna try to get it just right. Okay? I'm gonna pour it right in the center, right down the line. Okay? You have to make sure you're working with a level surface. If your surface isn't level, the epoxy is just going to run off. So it's pretty thick, so you don't really need a whole lot of it. Okay? So now what I'm going to do next is, once this finishes, I'm going to, okay, I don't know if you can hear me over the cicadas, but I'm going to take the brush and I'm going to start brushing it in. This is my first pour, and I'm doing it outside, but just so you know, outside is not an ideal location to be doing this, because you really don't want dust particles in your project. Okay? Now this is what's called the seal coat. Okay? So this coat is not really a big deal. What I'm trying to accomplish with this part of the pour is just fill in all these cracks from burning the wood, because I don't want my next pour to be tainted, with epoxy being soaked up by the wood. So I'm going to try to fill this in as much as I can and then come back, let it dry. I'm not sure how long, but I know you have to leave this in for at least 24 hours to let it set. So you see how I'm making sure I get in all those grooves? And if a little of the epoxy runs over the side, that's okay, because all that's gonna do is fill in the sides. So that's a good thing. So don't let the epoxy puddle, keep it moving to fill in all your cracks. Hold on, I need both of my hands for a minute, so I'll be back. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I needed both of my hands to get this done right. So I kind of got everything poured and ready. But one thing you have to remember, again, this stuff is self-leveling. So after I got the majority of it on, I used my hand with a glove on, of course, and I wiped it all the way up and down to make sure there was no epoxy pooling in any general area. And what you have to do to make sure that doesn't happen is make sure your surface that you're working on is completely level. Otherwise, you'll have more epoxy on one end than on the other. Well, I really didn't have that issue this time because, like I said, this is the seal coat. And what I'm doing is sealing the moisture into the wood, either into or out of, because all wood has moisture in it. The only time it's void of any moisture is when it's rotting. So any rotted wood has no moisture. Other than that, the ideal wood to work with is less than 10% moisture. That's okay to work with. And that's well, sometimes even in Home Depot, their moisture is more than 10%. That's why the wood is still wet when you buy it. But let me show you what I've done. So here we go. Okay, the wood is setting up, and it's gonna set up to a really high gloss. And any cracks you see, they're gonna fill in. So like right there, I'll just squeeze a little bit out just to get inside that crack, because that's what we want. We want to fill in all the cracks. And here are my side pieces. What this project is going to be is a window seal. You know how right inside your window you have that wood? Well, this is what mine is going to be. But it's going to be like an accent piece in the kitchen window seal. So it may not look like much right now, but trust me, when I'm done, it's going to be all that. And I'm practicing all of this because what I hope to do is to at some point start making other projects. I'm already working on some, but I love woodworking so much. I want to do it all the time. And hopefully I can make some pieces for you guys. I'm currently making a sofa table for a friend of mine, and I've shown her pictures all through the process, and she's kind of impressed with my work, if I must say so myself. So this is one of those different projects that I saw that I wanted to try out. Oh, but I told you I was going to show you. If you look in here closely, you can see the project is full of bubbles. And that's not what you want in your project. So this is how you deal with that. You take a propane torch, and what you do is you pass it over the wood. I don't know if you can see it, but the bubbles are popping. You don't really do it too heavy because you don't want to burn your wood, your epoxy, but you just want to pop the bubbles. It keeps going off on me because my tank is almost empty. But if you see the bubbles popping up, so this is the wood trying to give up all its moisture. I guess I need a new tank. Yeah, it's not going to stay open for me. Okay, well, you get the point. So I'm going to get a fresh tank, but what'll happen if you don't get out all the bubbles, your project will be full of bubbles, and it's not a good look. But like I said, this first coat is not important because I'm going to be sanding it all the way back down anyway, to get a smooth finish. And then once I get a smooth finish, then I'll pour another coat. Then that's when by then I'll have a new tank, and I'll be able to pop those bubbles as needed. I'm doing the top side right now, which is going to face up inside the windowsill. But I may or may not do the back side. The back side is not that important, but I may do it anyway just to completely seal the wood. But I have another project I'm finishing up. I've completed the base. Now I'm in the process of fabricating the tabletop, and I'm really anxious to see how that comes out. And I have a couple of other pieces I'm working on. I'll be working on what's called a cookie, which is the round-shaped wood that's rotted out in the middle. So I'm going to do something real interesting with that. So I can't wait to show you guys how that comes out. Then I'm also redoing my bathroom for all of those who are not aware of what a live edge slab is. I'm going to be doing a live edge slab in my bathroom, which means when a tree is cut down and they shave the top of it, they shave the top, they shave the bottom, and what's left of the wood is the edge, which is where the bark is. Well, that's called live edge. And you don't cut it straight, you leave it in its natural contour. And then you sand it, smooth it out, and you put either a polyurethane or an epoxy resin finish on the top. Well, I plan to do an epoxy resin finish in the bathroom. So I'm anxious to do it, but I have to do some things to my wood first to get it prepared. So that's going to be a big project for my own house. So I'll let you guys know how that comes out. So I'm going to sign off for now, but I'll be back probably on tomorrow to let you know how this one comes out. And by the way, before I go in for the evening, I'm going to cover this one up because dust and particles and dirt are not good friends to your epoxy finish. So you want to make sure that it's devoid of dust, no particles, no hairs, which is why I used a foam brush because a bristle brush can sometimes leave bristles, and you don't want bristles stuck inside of your epoxy. Once it's set and it's hard, it's a booger to get out. So we'll see what happens. All right, check you guys later.